Quick message to all our viewers before we get started on today's video. It has come to our attention that over 90% of our regular viewers are not subscribed to the channel. We request you to please click the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can be notified when the next video from Mythology is out. The bigger the channel gets, the better the quality of videos that we do for you also gets. So please help us make some amazing videos by supporting the channel and clicking that subscribe button. Thank you. Now over to the video. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mythlook with your host Nitin Nair. As you all know, this is the second part of our series where we are trying to compare two characters from mythology who are almost identical in nature but try to bring out what makes them specifically unique to their own mythologies. We've already covered the Egyptian and the Greek version of the Sphinx, and right now in our previous episode we talked about the Greek version of the character Hercules, or as the Greeks would call him, Heracles. Today we are going to be talking about Hercules, who is the Roman version of this exact same character. The demigod Hercules was regarded as a great hero for the people of both Rome and Greece. He was known for performing various deeds that no mortal could. Hercules was an everyman who had bad days and even died due to another's trickery. These stories are entertaining, but they also told an important lesson to the audience. If bad things can happen to a hero, they have nothing to be ashamed of. The most famous of his activities was the 12 labors that Hercules was asked to perform by his cousin Eurystheus, who was the king of Mycenae and Tiryns. The first set of labors numbered only 10, but they eventually grew to 12. You will notice that the 12 labors of Hercules and Heracles are exactly the same, and this actually adds to the lovely complexity that the Greek and Roman mythologies have to offer us. The 12 labors or tasks that Hercules had to accomplish were to kill the Nemean lion, who was imperious to all weapons, to kill the monster known as Hydra, who had 9 venomous heads, and when one was cut off, 2 more would grow in its place, to capture the Cerynithian hind, who was sacred to the goddess Artemis, to capture the Erymanthian boar, to cleaning the stables of Aegis in a day, to drive away the Stymphalian birds, to bring back the Cretan bull from Knossos, to bring back the mares of Diomedes, to bring back Hippolyte's girdle, to bring back the cattle of Geryon, the king of Cadiz, to bring back the golden apples of Hesperides, to bring back Cerberus, the guard dog of the underworld. In art, Hercules was depicted with various attributes such as his lion skin from killing the Nemean lion and the gnarled club. In Renaissance and post-Renaissance works, he was also shown with a virile aspect and dressed in all white. Hercules was the son of Jupiter and Alcmene. Although Hercules was regarded as a great defender and champion of the weak, his personal problem started when he was born. In Roman mythology, 2 witches were sent to prevent the birth of Hercules but were tricked by one of his servants. In one version of the story, the serpents were sent to kill the child in his cradle, but Hercules was able to choke them both. According to another version, the mother, who was identified as Minerva, took her baby to the woods to protect him from the wrath of the king. However, the child was later found by the goddess, who saved him. When Hercules suckled at her breast, she pushed him away and spilled her milk all over the night sky, leading to the rise of the Milky Way. After giving the baby back to Minerva, she told her to take care of the child. The goddess then imbued the child with more power and strength after she fed him from her own breast. King Creon of Thebes gave Hercules his daughter Megara in marriage as a sign of his gratitude. Hercules was born with the name Alcaeus and later took the name Hercules, meaning glory of Hera, signifying that he would become famous through his difficulties with the goddess. In Greek mythology, as you all know, he was known as Heracles. There were many myths about Hercules, and one of these is his victory over Heracles, who was terrorizing Rome. He was associated with the city through his son Amedeneus. Mark Antony regarded him as a personal god, and Commodus referred to him as a patron god. Due to the religious beliefs of the Romans, Hercules was assigned as a deity who was involved in childbirth and children. In Roman culture, women were required to wear a special belt that was tied with a knot of Hercules. This was made to be hard to untie. Plautus wrote a play about Hercules that was considered to be a sex comedy. Seneca wrote a tragedy about Hercules Furens, which was about his battle with madness. During the Roman Empire, Hercules was worshipped in Hispania and Gaul. The myths about Hercules show the world that everyone had a hard time overcoming difficult tasks and situations. Similar to what happened in ancient Greece, people would gather around a table and listen to stories of the hero. Even in modern mediums such as comics, television shows, and graphic novels, Hercules continues to be popular. Hercules is a hero that people can relate to due to how far from perfect he was in life. He was also less than ideal, but he managed to endure his hardships. Having endured his own struggles, one can feel if Hercules could endure his own hardships, then other people would also be able to survive. One of the main differences in the characters between the Greek and Roman mythology was that in Roman mythology it was more of an inspiration to people who are going through difficulties in their life and tell them that things are going to get better, and even the best of men had things tough in his life. In contrast to Greek mythology, where Heracles commanded a more powerful position in terms of being associated with an immortal deity, Roman mythology tends to humanize Hercules a lot more than the Greeks. And this is quite evident in the stories and post-Renaissance literature and art, which focus mainly on the difficulties and sufferings that Hercules had to go through rather than his exploits and his achievements. This is a wonderful change to how a character can be seen by two different civilizations despite being almost identical. So this concludes our two-part episode into looking at characters who are similar. We will be looking at a lot more, but we would not be going into the same kind of depth that we did in with the past two episodes, because Greek and Roman mythology tend to be very similar, and then we would just have too many characters floating around for which we have nothing new to infer from. But we will be stepping into such two-part episodes where we will be covering characters and personalities from two distinct mythologies from around the world. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Mythloke. Before I sign off, I would like to remind you to drop a like, a subscribe, a comment, or better still, just tell your friends about Mythloke and invite them to the journey that we are on together. This is your host Nitin Nair, signing out by reminding you once again that Mythloke is the home of mythology.